Hey everyone, it's Alana and welcome back to my channel. Today you are joining me with the Books and Bakes book tag, which was originally created by Life is a Page Turner. I will leave her original video tagged below, and I thought this would be a very fun way to combine two of my favorite things. I love books and I love to bake. Unfortunately, I am also very unprepared for this video, so the only baked thing in my house is this keto cookie, which actually tastes pretty good, but yeah, my favourite things to bake, however, are probably gingerbread cookies at Christmas time, yum, and also just cookies in general, just all different types, shapes, and sizes. So let's just jump straight into the book tag. The first question is Cupcakes. Name a collection of short stories, poems, or anthologies where you couldn't just read one section and had to go back for another. Now, I don't really own heaps of anthologies of short stories. I do, however, own lots of short story collections set in the worlds of other books, and I mean, this only has 2 in it, but some of my favorites were Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, which is of course set in the Lunar Chronicles, and also Happily Ever After by Kira Cass, which is set in the Selection series thing. But in case that doesn't count, what I'm currently reading is Crush, which are short stories about love. They are about having crushes, about being crushed by love, and one of my friends actually got published in this, so that's the original reason why I bought it. But now I'm just going through and reading the stories, which is something new for me, because usually I don't pick up short story anthologies, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Question number 2 is Lemon Pound Cake, and it is name a book that has 400 pages or more that you consider a comfort read or a potential classic. For this one, I'm going to go with Watermelon by Marian Keyes. I don't think that this one will end up being a classic, however, it is a major comfort read for me. Pretty much anything by Marian Keyes is. She writes stories about people's lives that seem ordinary, and she can just delve in. She's very, very good at what she does, and all of her books make me feel warm and comfortable even when the characters are going through their own shit. She's my comfort author. Question number 3 is Red Velvet Cake. Name a book that you thought was one thing but that ended up being something else entirely. For this one, I'm going to say The Fifth Room by Alison Rushby. This one, the blurb made it sound like a YA thriller, which it was, but it ended up being something else entirely because the storyline went in a very weird direction, and I don't know, it ended up reading a bit messy. The plot sort of ended up jumping all over the place around about this far. Plot lines were scattered throughout but weren't reconnected in any way, and yeah, not a favourite of mine. It had potential, but then it went weird. Question number 4 is Chocolate Chip Cookie Dough. I love chocolate chip cookies. Yum. And that is name a book or book series that you know is bad for you but that you can read over and over again. Now, if I'm rereading a book, it's because I loved it and not necessarily that it's bad for me. So this one was a bit hard, but I will probably throw it to Sarah J Maas with Throne of Glass. These books were a bit tropey and they ended up going in a bit of a weird direction. Kingdom of Ash, the finale, wasn't my favorite book ending of a series, but you know, it was fine. And yeah, these are YA fantasy. You can tell that the author grows throughout writing them because they get better, but then there's also this weird divide in the series where the books end up going another different way completely. And yeah, not the best series, but it is also a really popular series, and I feel like this is mine. This is it. This is my chocolate chip cookie dough. Question number 5, Apple Pie a la Mode. Name a book that was really good but could have been better with a little bit of ice cream. For me, I'm going to say The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. With this one, the cover, the pitch, the blurb, all of it pointed towards something that I thought it would be, and then it wasn't heaps, but I still really enjoyed it. Basically, this book is like a prequel to The Brides of Dracula, but I was expecting more of the Brides of Dracula part. It tells of the girls before they become his brides, and I would have liked to see more of afterwards, whereas I think it's more of the last 50 pages or whatnot, we actually interact with Dracula and it speeds the storyline up. So put a little bit of ice cream with this and give me more of what it was like to be one of his brides, and I'm all there for it. Pretty much give me a sequel and I will buy it. Question number 6 is a split question, so you get to choose which one you are more like, and that is to do with gingerbread cookies. Do you like your gingerbread crunchy or soft? I myself love a soft gingerbread. So if you like your cookies soft, name a book that was squishy in the middle but the beginning and the end were really good. This one was a hard one to sort of come up with, but I ended up choosing Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman. This one started off really strong with the whole when the taps run dry, what do you do? There was panic everywhere, and then I feel like there was a little bit of a lull in the storyline. Neil Schusterman is really good for his ideas and concepts. They continually blow my mind. I love his books for that part, but sometimes I feel like the execution lacks a little bit. Also, because I read this a little while ago, I have a vague idea of what happens in the end, but I do remember that I loved the beginning. So this one. Number 7 is brownies. Are you a corner piece type of person or are you a middle piece type of person? I love the crunchy corner pieces. They are delicious. Now I just want to bake brownies. It's fine. But for me, if you're a corner piece, name a book that started off strong but then all comes apart. This one may be a little bit controversial because I know that a few people really loved this book and it wasn't a bad book, but it's The Poppy War. I saw some of my favorite booktubers rave about this and love it, so I just went out and splashed out and bought the hardcovers straight away, which is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But for this one, I felt like I really enjoyed the start. I enjoyed the school setting. I enjoyed our main character Rin, how she had to actually work hard to achieve her goals. It wasn't just and then she studied and won the test. Like, she really had to work for what she wanted. But then halfway through the book, the storyline takes a step in a different direction, which I wasn't expecting. I thought we'd get more of the school aspect, which is one of my favorite tropes. And then it went super weird, and for me it sort of dived at the end. And now because I bought the hardcover of this, it means that if I want to pick up the second book, I'll need the hardcover to match. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to that, but yeah. Number 8 is birthday cake, and that is to name a book, series, or an author that comes out with a new book, a new short story, a new series every year. And the first author that I thought of was J. Kristoff. If you don't know who J. Kristoff is, basically he's a writing machine. He comes up with all these different stories in all these different genres and just smashes them out, and basically has a book coming out every year. Sometimes he has multiple books coming out in a year. And his favorite series of mine is the Nevernight Chronicles, which is not for everyone but is definitely for me. And question number 9 is carrot cake. Name a book that sounded healthy for you but ended up being unhealthy, either with content or put you in a reading slump. Now for me, I've talked about this book briefly in a few of my other videos, but that is The Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean. This book, not really for the content warnings or trigger warnings or anything. There's not really much of that in there from what I remember, mainly because this put me in a reading slump. I wanted this to be amazing and I didn't end up enjoying it. It sounded like a cross between The Hunger Games and mythology, and it sounded like everything that I would love, and then it just wasn't. So thanks for the reading slump, Empress of All Seasons. And then the 10th and final question is tag some friends that you would love to share some baked goods with. I am going to tag Taz from the Latte Library and also Tamika from Paperback and Flick Chick, because they are some small Aussie booktubers that I've been loving lately. And yeah, that's it for this tag. Thank you so much for watching. I will once again leave the original tag video below for you to check out. And yeah, I may go bake some cookies now. Who knows? See ya!